Dr. Lisa Wong slowly opened her eyes, feeling like she was waking up from the deepest sleep of her life. But something was very wrong. The ceiling above her wasn't the familiar white tiles of her laboratory. Instead, it was smooth and curved, glowing with a soft blue light that seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. She tried to sit up, but her body felt heavy and strange. The air around her was different too. It tasted sweet and clean, almost like breathing pure mountain air. Where was she? The last thing she remembered was working late in her lab, studying plant samples under the microscope. There had been a bright flash of light outside her window, so intense it hurt her eyes. Then everything went dark. Now she was lying on something that felt like a bed, but it was made of a material she had never seen before. It was soft, yet firm, and it seemed to adjust to her body temperature automatically. The walls around her were smooth and white, but they had a strange quality. They looked solid, but somehow alive, as if they were breathing very slowly. Lisa was a scientist who studied how living things adapt to different environments. She had spent years learning about plants and animals, so she was naturally curious about everything. But right now, curiosity was mixed with fear. This place didn't look like anywhere on Earth. She managed to sit up and look around more carefully. The room was small but comfortable. There were no windows, no doors that she could see. The light came from the walls themselves, creating a warm, peaceful feeling despite her growing panic. Strange symbols were carved into the walls. They looked like some kind of writing. But unlike any language she had ever seen, suddenly she heard footsteps. But they weren't normal footsteps. They were too light, too graceful. Lisa's heart began to beat faster. Someone was coming, but who? And where exactly was she? The wall in front of her began to change. It became transparent, like looking through clear water. On the other side, she could see a corridor that stretched far into the distance. There were glowing too, creating a tunnel of soft light. A figure appeared in the corridor, walking toward her. At first, Lisa thought it might be a person wearing some kind of unusual clothes. But as the figure got closer, she realized this was no human being. The creature was tall and slender, much taller than any person she had ever seen. Its skin was pale and smooth, with a slight blue tint that reminded her of moonlight on water. Its limbs were longer than human limbs, and it moved with a grace that seemed almost like dancing. But what struck her most were its eyes. They were large and dark, like deep pools, and they seemed to glow with their own inner light. The creature stopped just outside the transparent wall and looked at her. Despite its strange appearance, there was something calming about its presence. It didn't seem threatening or dangerous. Instead, it watched her with what appeared to be curiosity and perhaps even kindness. "You are awake," the creature said, but its lips didn't move. The voice seemed to come from inside Lisa's own mind, clear and melodious. "I am Zara. Please do not be afraid." Lisa's scientific mind was racing. This was impossible. She was either dreaming or something incredible was happening. But the voice in her head felt real, and everything around her seemed solid and genuine. "Where am I?" she asked out loud, surprised that her voice worked normally. "You are safe," Zara replied, still speaking directly into her thoughts. "You are aboard our vessel, far from your world. But you will not be harmed." The wall between them dissolved completely, as if it had never been there. Zara stepped into the room, and Lisa could see her more clearly now. The alien wore a simple garment that seemed to be made of the same glowing material as the walls. Her movements were fluid and peaceful, like someone who had never known violence or anger. "Why am I here?" Lisa asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "What do you want?" "From me." Zara tilted her head slightly, a gesture that seemed surprisingly human. "You were chosen," she said. "Your work, your knowledge of how life adapts and changes, it is exactly what we need." "My work?" Lisa was confused. She studied plants and small animals in her laboratory. How could that possibly interest an alien civilization? "You study how living things survive in difficult conditions," Zara explained. "How they change and grow stronger when their environment becomes dangerous. This knowledge is very important to us." Lisa looked around the strange room again. The walls continued to pulse with their gentle light, and she could hear a soft humming sound, like music played very quietly. Everything here seemed peaceful and advanced, but she was still a prisoner, wasn't she? "I want to go home," she said. Simply, Zara's large eyes seemed to show sadness. "I understand, but first, you must know why you are here. Your world is in danger and your people need help. We have been watching, and we have seen what is coming." "What do you mean watching? Your planet is changing. The air, the water, the climate, all of it is becoming dangerous for your species. We have seen this happen to many worlds. Most of them did not survive." Lisa felt a chill run through her body. As a scientist, she knew about climate change and environmental problems. But hearing it described by an alien being made it seem more real and more frightening. "But there is hope," Zara continued. "We've developed a way to help. A process that can make your people stronger, able to survive what is coming. But it requires someone with your knowledge to make it work." Lisa stared at the alien, trying to understand what she was hearing. "Do you want me to help you with some kind of experiment?" "Not an experiment," Zara said gently. "A transformation. Way. To save your species." The room seemed to grow quieter, as if the very walls were listening to their conversation. Lisa realized that whatever was happening to her, it was much bigger than she had imagined. This wasn't just about her being taken from her lab. It was about the future of humanity itself. "What kind of transformation?" she asked, though part of her wasn't sure she wanted to know the answer. Zara moved closer, and Lisa could see her reflection in those large, dark eyes. "We will show you," the alien said, "but first you must rest. The process of bringing you here was difficult for your body. You need time to recover." "I don't want to rest," Lisa protested. "I want to understand what's happening to me." "Understanding will come," Zara assured her. "But understanding without preparation can be dangerous. Tomorrow, we will begin to show you the truth about your world and ours. Tonight, you must trust us." As Zara spoke, Lisa felt a strange drowsiness washing over her. The room seemed to be getting dimmer, and the humming sound was becoming more like a lullaby. She wanted to fight against the sleepiness, but her body felt heavy and relaxed. "Sleep now," Zara said softly. "Tomorrow, everything will become clear." Lisa's eyes closed despite her efforts to keep them open. As she drifted off to sleep, she heard Zara's voice one last time. "Rest, human. Tomorrow we begin the process that will change everything." Lisa woke up feeling more refreshed than she had in months. The strange bed had somehow given her the best sleep of her life, even though she was trapped on an alien ship. The walls were still glowing softly, and she could hear that gentle humming sound again. It was almost like being inside a giant seashell. She sat up and looked around. The room looked exactly the same as before, but now there was something new. A small table had appeared near her bed, and on it was what looked like food. The plate was made of the same glowing material as everything else. The food itself was unlike anything she had ever seen. There were small, round fruits that glowed like tiny lanterns. Next to them was something that looked like bread, but it was silver and seemed to shimmer. Lisa was hungry, but she wasn't sure if she should eat alien food. What if it was poisonous to humans? "It is safe," came Zara's voice in her mind. "We have studied your species for many years. This food is designed to nourish human bodies." Lisa looked up and saw that the wall had become transparent again. Zara was standing on the other side, watching her with those large, dark eyes. "Day?" The alien looked different somehow. Less mysterious, more friendly. "How long have you been watching us?" Lisa asked, as she picked up one of the glowing fruits. It felt warm in her hand and smelled like honey. "Longer than you might think," Zara replied, as the wall dissolved and she stepped into the room. "We have been observing your world for over 200 of your years." Lisa nearly dropped the fruit. 200 years. But why? What's so special about Earth? Zara moved gracefully to the other side of the room, where another chair appeared from the floor, as if it had grown there. "Your planet is special because it is so similar to ours was long ago. We see in humans the same potential, the same creativity, the same ... problems." "Problems. Eat first," Zara said gently. Understanding requires strength. Lisa bit into the fruit. It tasted amazing sweet and refreshing, like the best orange juice mixed with spring water. She felt energy flowing through her body immediately. The bread-like substance was even better. It was soft and filling, and it seemed to make her mind clearer. "No," Zara said, when Lisa had finished eating. "I will show you why you are here." Walls around them began to change. Instead of the smooth, glowing surface, they now showed images like watching a movie on a screen that surrounded them completely. But these weren't just pictures. Lisa could feel the heat, smell the air, and hear the sounds of the places they were seeing. The first image showed a beautiful world with blue skies and green forests. It looked almost like Earth, but the plants were different colors: purple, trees, silver grass, and flowers that seemed to glow with their own light. "This was our world," Zara explained. "It was called Ethros. Beautiful, peaceful, full of life." "Was?" Lisa asked, though she already suspected the answer wouldn't be. Good, the image changed. Now the same world looked sick and dying. The purple trees were gray and lifeless. The silver grass had turned brown. The glowing flowers were gone. The sky was a sickly yellow color, and Lisa could see that the air itself looked poisonous. "Made mistakes," Zara said sadly. "We used our resources too quickly. We changed the climate. We polluted the air and water. By the time we realized what we had done, it was almost too late." Lisa felt a chill run through her. This was exactly what scientists on Earth were warning about: climate change, pollution, the destruction of natural habitats, all the problems that kept her awake at night, worrying about the future. "What happened to your people?" she asked. "Many died," Zara replied, "but some of us survived by changing ourselves. We learned to live in space, on ships like this one. We learned to breathe different air, to eat different food. We adapted." The images changed again. Elisa saw the inside of ships like the one she was on. She saw aliens like Zara, but they looked different, healthier, stronger. They were working together, building things, creating new technologies. "We survived," Zara continued, "but we lost something important. We lost our connection to nature, to growing things, to the kind of life we once had. We became travelers, wanderers, looking for new worlds where we might be able to start over. And you found Earth. We found many worlds. But most of them were already dying, or the people living there were not ready to change. Earth is different. Your people are smart and creative. You have the knowledge to solve your problems, but you need help to use it." Lisa was beginning to understand. "That's why you took me. Because I study how living things adapt to survive." "Exactly," Zara said. And Lisa thought she saw the aliens smile. "You understand how life changes when it must. How plants grow stronger in difficult conditions. How animals develop new abilities when their environment becomes dangerous." The wall showed new images now, pictures of Earth from space. Lisa could see the blue oceans and green continents, but she could also see the brown patches of desert, the gray clouds of pollution, and the white ice caps that were smaller than they should be. "Your world is beautiful," Zara said, "but it is also in danger. The same things that happened to Ethros are beginning to happen to Earth. The climate is changing. The air is becoming harder to breathe. The water is becoming poisoned." Lisa had known this, of course. Every scientist on Earth knew it. But seeing it from space through alien eyes made it seem more real and more urgent. "We want to help," Zara continued. "But we cannot simply give. You are technology. Your people must learn to adapt, to change, to become stronger. And that is where you come in." "What do you want me to do?" Zara stood up and walked closer to Lisa. "We have developed a process, a way to help humans adapt to the changes that are coming, to make them stronger, healthier, able to survive in the new world that Earth is becoming. You want to experiment on me?" "Not experiment," Zara said carefully. "Transform. Help you become something new, something that can help your people survive." "What is coming?" Lisa felt scared and excited at the same time. "What kind of transformation?" "We will combine the best of human biology with the best of our own. You will still be you, still human, but you will be stronger. You will be able to breathe poisoned air, to drink contaminated water, to heal from injuries that would kill a normal person." The images on the walls changed again. Now Lisa saw other aliens beings that looked like they had once been different species but were now something new. They were working together, building cities, growing food in conditions that should have been impossible. These are others who have joined us, Zara explained. People from worlds that faced the same problems as yours. They chose to change rather than die with their planets. But what about the people who don't change? Lisa asked. What happens to them? Zara's expression grew sad. That is what we are trying to prevent. If enough people change, if enough people become able to survive in the new world, then they can help the others. Can teach them, guide them, help them adapt gradually. Lisa looked at the images of the transformed beings. They looked peaceful and happy, but they also looked very different from what they had been before. Will I still be human? You will be more than human, Zara said gently. You will be what humans need to become to survive. The walls returned to their normal, glowing state. Lisa sat in silence for a long time, thinking about everything she had seen and heard. Her scientific mind was fascinated by the possibilities, but her human heart was afraid of losing herself, of becoming something her friends and family wouldn't recognize. I need time to think, she said finally. Of course, Zara replied. This is not a decision to make quickly, but remember, time is not something your world has very much of. The changes are coming whether your people are ready or not. As Zara prepared to leave, Lisa called out to her. Why me? Why not someone more important, like a world leader or a famous scientist? Zara paused at the dissolving wall. Because you understand life at its most basic level. You know how things grow, how they change, how they survive. And because you have something our people lost long ago. What's that? Hope, Zara said simply. You still believe that life can be better, that problems can be solved. That is what will make the process work. With that, Zara disappeared, leaving Lisa alone with the most important decision of her life. Lisa spent the next few hours alone in her room, her mind racing with thoughts about everything Zara had told her. The walls around her pulsed gently with their blue light. She found herself staring at them, wondering what other secrets this alien ship might hold. She kept thinking about the images she had seen, the dying world, the transformed beings, and most of all, the pictures of Earth from space. Her home looked so beautiful, but also so fragile, like a precious blue marble floating in the darkness. As a scientist, Lisa had always believed in facts and evidence. But what Zara was asking her to do went beyond science. It was about faith, about trusting in something completely unknown. Could she really give up her human form to save her species? The wall in front of her began to glow brighter, and then it became transparent again. But this time, it wasn't Zara standing on the other side. It was someone else, another alien, but different from Zara. This being was shorter and had golden skin that shimmered like metal. Hello, Lisa, the creature said, its voice appearing in her mind just like Zara's had. My name is Kale. I was once like you. Lisa sat up straighter. Like me? You mean you were human? Kale smiled, and Lisa was surprised to see that the expression looked perfectly natural on the alien's face. It's not human, but similar. It was from a world called Viridian. We looked different from you, but we had the same hopes, the same fears, the same love for our planet. The wall dissolved, and Kale stepped into the room. As he got closer, Lisa could see that, despite his golden skin and slightly different proportions, there was something familiar about him, something that reminded her of people she knew back on Earth. I want to show you something, Kale said, something that might help you understand what the transformation really means. He held out his hand, and Lisa saw that his fingers were longer than human fingers, but they moved in the same way. May I? Lisa hesitated, then reached out and took his hand. The moment their skin touched, she felt a rush of images and sensations, flooding her mind. But these weren't scary or overwhelming. They were warm and comforting. Like looking through a photo album of someone's life, she saw Kale's world as it had been, a place of crystal cities and floating gardens, where beings with golden skin lived in harmony with nature. She felt his love for his family, his excitement about his work as a healer, his joy in the simple pleasures of life. Then she saw the changes beginning. The crystal cities started to crack and crumble. The Floating gardens withered and fell. The golden-skinned people became sick and frightened as their world died around them. "We tried to fight it," Kale said, his voice gentle in her mind. "We tried to fix our world, to heal it, to make it like it was before. But we had waited too long. The damage was too great." Lisa felt tears on her cheeks as she experienced Kale's grief and desperation. She felt what it was like to watch everything you love slowly disappear. "Then Zara's people came," Kale continued. "They offered us the same choice they are offering. We could die with our world, or we could change and live. What did you choose?" "I chose to change," Kale said simply, "and I have never regretted it." He released her hand, and the flood of images stopped. Lisa felt dizzy for a moment, then looked at Kale with new eyes. He wasn't just an alien anymore. He was someone who had faced the same terrible choice she was facing now. "But you look so different," she said. "Are you still?" Kale laughed, and the sound was musical and warm. "I am more me than I ever was before. Transformation didn't take away who I was. It made me stronger, better able to help others, more capable of love and understanding." He gestured to the wall, and it began to show new images. Lisa saw Kale working with other transformed beings, healing the sick, growing food in impossible conditions, building new homes for refugees from dying worlds. "This is what I do now," he said. "I help others adapt to new worlds, new lives. I use my healing abilities to ease their pain and fear. I am still a healer, just as I was on Viridian. But now, I can heal people I never could have helped before." Lisa watched the images with fascination. She saw Kale place his hands on a wounded creature, and the wounds closed instantly. She saw him breathe life into dying plants, making them grow strong and healthy in soil that should have been poisonous. "These abilities," she said, "they're real?" "Very real," Kale replied. "The transformation connects us to the life force of the universe itself. We become bridges between different forms of life, able to understand and help all living things." The images changed again, showing other transformed beings. Lisa saw a creature that looked like it had once been similar to a dolphin, now working to clean polluted oceans. She saw bird-like beings purifying poisoned air with their breath. She saw plant-like creatures growing food in deserts and wastelands. "Each of us keeps the best of what we were," Kale explained, "but we gain abilities that match what the universe needs most. You, with your knowledge of how life adapts and survives, would become something very special." "What do you mean?" Kale moved closer, and Lisa could see excitement in his strange but kind eyes. "You would become a life gardener, someone who can help entire ecosystems adapt to changing conditions. You could make Earth's plants and animals stronger, more able to survive what's coming." The wall showed new images, Earth's forests, but changed. The trees were healthier, more colorful. Animals looked stronger and more alert. The air seemed cleaner, the water clearer. "You could help create this," Kale said. "A version of Earth that's not just surviving, but thriving. A world where humans and nature work together in perfect harmony." Lisa felt her heart racing. As a scientist, she had always dreamed of finding ways to help the environment. But this was beyond anything she had ever imagined. "What about my family?" she asked. "My friends? Would I ever see them again?" Kale's expression grew gentle. "The transformation would allow you to return to Earth, but you would be different. Some people might not understand at first, but you would still love them. And if they truly love you, they would learn to accept what you've become." He paused, then added, "And you would be able to help protect them in ways you never could before. You could ensure they have clean air to breathe, pure water to drink, healthy food to eat. You could be their guardian, their protector." Lisa closed her eyes and tried to imagine it. Going back to Earth, but not as the same person who had left. Being able to heal the damage that humans had done to their world. Being able to save the people and places she loved. "There's something else," Kale said quietly. "Something Zara didn't tell you yet." Lisa opened her eyes and looked at him. What? You wouldn't be alone. If you choose to transform, you would be the first of many. We would help you find others on Earth who are ready to change. Together, you could build a new kind of human community. People who are still human at heart, but strong enough to survive anything. The wall showed images of groups of transformed humans working together. They looked happy and peaceful, but also powerful and capable. They were building cities that worked with nature instead of against it, growing food that was more nutritious than anything that existed now, teaching children how to live in harmony with their environment. This is what Earth could become, Kale said. But it needs someone to start the process. Someone brave enough to take the first step. Lisa looked at all the images surrounding her, at this vision of a better future for her world. Then she looked at Kale, who had given up his original form to save his people, and now spent his life helping others do the same. If I say yes, she said slowly, if I agree to the transformation, what happens next? Kale smiled. Then tomorrow, you take the first step toward becoming the person your world needs you to be. You become hope itself, made real. Lisa nodded, feeling a strange mixture of fear and excitement building in her chest. She was beginning to understand that this wasn't just about saving herself, or even saving humanity. It was about becoming part of something larger, something that could heal worlds and bring different forms of life together. I think she said quietly, I think I'm ready to hear more. Kale's smile grew brighter. Then let us call Zara. It's time for you to see exactly what the transformation involves. As he spoke, Lisa felt a sense of destiny settling over her. Whatever happened next, she knew her life would never be the same. But for the first time since waking up on this alien ship, she felt like that might not be a bad thing. Lisa had made her decision. After talking with Kale and seeing what the transformation could mean for Earth, she knew she couldn't turn back. The fear was still there, like a cold knot in her stomach, but it was mixed with something else now. Hope.Zara arrived within minutes of being called, and Lisa could see relief in those large, dark eyes. You have chosen to help your people, Zara said, her voice warm in Lisa's mind. I'm honored to guide you through this process. What exactly happens now? Lisa asked, trying to keep her voice steady. First we prepare, Zara explained. Transformation is not something that happens quickly. Your body needs time to adjust, to accept the changes gradually. If we tried to change everything at once, the shock would be too great. Kale stepped forward. Think of it like learning to swim, he said kindly. You don't jump into the deep end right away. You start in shallow water, get comfortable, then slowly go deeper. Lisa nodded, understanding the comparison. As a scientist, she knew that any major change in a living system had to happen slowly to be successful. Come, Zara said, moving toward the wall. Let me show you where the transformation will take place. The wall dissolved, and they walked out into the corridor. Lisa was amazed by how vast the ship was. The hallways stretched in all directions, with soft light flowing along the walls like water. Other beings moved through the corridors. Some looked like Zara, others like Kale, and still others were completely different. All of them nodded respectfully as they passed. How many people are on this ship? Lisa asked. Zara replied. This is not just a ship, it is a traveling city. We carry with us beings from many worlds, all working together to help other species survive. They stopped at a large circular door that was covered in the same flowing symbols Lisa had seen in her room. Zara placed her hand on the door, and it began to glow brighter. Then it opened, revealing a chamber that took Lisa's breath away. The room was enormous, with a domed ceiling that showed what looked like stars and galaxies swirling overhead. In the center was a pool of glowing liquid that seemed to be alive, moving in gentle waves even though there was no wind. This is the chamber of becoming, Zara said softly. Here, countless beings have chosen to transform themselves to help save their worlds. Lisa walked closer to the pool. The liquid was beautiful, shifting between different colors, blue, green, silver, gold, reminded her of the aurora borealis. But in liquid form? Is this what changes me? She asked. This is part of it, Kale explained. The pool contains what we call life essence, a combination of genetic material from many different species, mixed with energy from the heart of the universe itself. Lisa knelt beside the pool and looked at her reflection in the glowing surface. Her face looked back at her, but somehow different, more peaceful, more determined. The process begins slowly, Zara said, settling beside her. First, you will spend time in the preparation chamber, where your body will be strengthened and made ready for the changes. Then you will enter the pool, and the real transformation will begin. Will it hurt? Lisa asked. She had to know. Zara and Kale exchanged glances. Pain is not the right word, Kale said carefully. It's more like ... growing. You know how your muscles feel after exercise? Not pleasant, but good in a way, because you know you're becoming stronger. The hardest part, Zara added, is not physical, it is mental. During the transformation, you will experience memories and feelings from other species. You will understand what it means to be a plant reaching for sunlight, a bird flying through clouds, a fish swimming in deep ocean. Currents. Lisa felt a shiver of excitement. Someone who had spent her life studying different forms of life, the idea of actually experiencing them was incredible. But remember, Zara continued, through all of this, you will remain yourself. The transformation adds to who you are, it doesn't take away. They spent the next hour walking around the chamber, with Zara and Kale explaining every detail of the process. Lisa learned that the transformation would take 3 days. The first day would be preparation, the second would be the actual change, and the third would be integration, helping her new abilities settle into her body and mind. Are you ready to begin? Zara asked finally. Lisa took a deep breath. I think so, but I have one last question. What is it? And I go back to Earth, when I try to help my people understand what needs to happen. What if they don't believe me? What if they think I'm crazy or dangerous? Kale smiled. That is why you won't be alone. Part of your new abilities will be the power to help others see the truth, not by forcing them, but by showing them beauty and possibility they never imagined. And Zara added, you will be able to find others who are ready to change. On every world, there are people who understand that something must be done. You will be able to recognize them, to help them take the same journey you are taking now. Lisa nodded, feeling more confident. She walked to the edge of the pool and looked down into the swirling colors. Somewhere in that beautiful liquid was her future, not just her own future, but the future of everyone she loved. Relax, human. It won't hurt, Zara said gently, placing a hand on Lisa's shoulder. Trust in the process. Trust in yourself. Lisa closed her eyes and stepped into the pool. The liquid was warm and seemed to welcome her, supporting her body as she moved deeper. She felt tiny sparkles of energy against her skin, like gentle electric touches as she settled into the pool. Lying back and letting the liquid support her completely, Lisa felt a profound sense of peace. The glowing substance began to pulse with a rhythm that matched her heartbeat. And she realized that this was just the beginning. I can feel it starting, she whispered, her voice filled with wonder. The liquid around her began to glow brighter, and Lisa felt the first gentle waves of change beginning to flow through her body. It was like warm honey flowing through her veins, or like sunlight spreading through her bones. She opened her eyes and looked up at the swirling galaxies on the ceiling. For a moment, she felt connected to all of them, to every star and planet and living thing in the universe. She understood that she was becoming part of something vast and beautiful, something that had been working for millions of years to help life survive and thrive. I can see it, she said, her voice filled with joy. I can see the connections between all living things. It's incredible. Zara and Kale stood at the edge of the pool, watching over her with expressions of pride and excitement. You are doing beautifully, Zara said. Let the process guide you. Don't fight it. Just experience it. Lisa felt her consciousness expanding, touching other minds, other forms of life. She experienced the patient strength of ancient trees, the playful curiosity of dolphins, the determined survival instinct of desert flowers. Each connection made her stronger, more complete. Hours passed, though Lisa lost track of time. She felt herself changing cell by cell, becoming something new while remaining fundamentally herself. Her love for her family, her passion for science, her hope for the future, all of these stayed with her, but they were joined by new abilities, new understanding, new purpose. How do you feel? Kale asked at one point. Like I'm becoming who I was always meant to be, Lisa replied, and she meant it completely. As the first day of transformation came to an end, Lisa felt herself settling into her new reality. She was no longer just a human scientist. She was becoming something much more, a bridge between species, a healer of worlds, a guardian of life itself. The process had begun, and there was no turning back. But as Lisa floated in the pool of stars, feeling the universe welcoming her into its embrace, she knew she had made the right choice. Tomorrow would bring even greater changes. But tonight, she would rest in the knowledge that she was taking the first steps towards saving everything she loved. 3 days had passed since Lisa first stepped into the pool of swirling light. Now, as she slowly opened her eyes, she felt completely different. Not in a bad way, she still felt like herself, but everything about her had become more aware, more connected, more alive. She sat up in the glowing pool and looked at her hands. Her skin had a subtle shine to it now, like moonlight on water. When she moved her fingers, she could see tiny sparkles of energy dancing around them. It was beautiful and strange at the same time.
Good morning, Lisa,
came Zara's familiar voice in her mind. How do you feel? Lisa thought about the question for a moment. How did she feel? I feel like I can hear the universe singing, she said softly. Is that normal? Kale laughed from somewhere nearby. Very normal. The connection to all life creates a kind of music that most people never get to hear. You're hearing the rhythm of existence itself. Lisa stood up in the pool, and the liquid seemed to help her, supporting her and making her feel strong. As she stepped out onto the smooth floor, her feet left tiny glowing footprints that faded after a few seconds. Look, Zara said, pointing to a wall that had become like a mirror. Lisa gasped when she saw her reflection. She looked like herself, but enhanced. Her eyes now had flecks of gold and green in them, and they seemed to glow with inner light. Hair had subtle streaks of silver that caught the light beautifully. She was still human, still recognizably Lisa, but there was something more now. Something that spoke of wisdom and power. I'm still me, she said with wonder, touching her face in the mirror. You are more you than you have ever been, Zara confirmed. The transformation has awakened abilities that were always sleeping inside. You. Now, let me show you what you can do. They walked to another part of the chamber, where several plants were growing in containers. But these plants looked sick. Their leaves were brown and wilted, and they seemed to be dying. These plants are from a world that was poisoned by pollution, Kale explained.
Oh, nothing we have tried has been able to save them.
Lisa felt drawn to the plants, without really thinking about it. She reached out and gently touched one of the dying leaves. The moment her finger made contact, she felt a rush of understanding. She could sense what the plant needed, what was making it sick, and most importantly, how to heal it. Energy flowed from her hand into the plant, and Lisa watched in amazement as the brown leaf turned green again. The change spread throughout the plant like water flowing through dry earth. Within moments, the entire plant was healthy and vibrant, more beautiful than it had probably ever been. Incredible, breathed Zara. I've never seen healing happen so quickly or completely. Lisa moved to the other plants, touching each one. With every touch, dead plants came back to life, growing stronger and more beautiful than before. But it wasn't just healing. She was improving them, making them able to survive in conditions that would have killed them before. This is what you were meant to do, Kale said with excitement. You are a life gardener, just as we thought. Can heal not just individual plants and animals, but entire ecosystems. Lisa felt tears of joy on her cheeks. As a scientist, she had always wanted to help nature, but she had never imagined being able to do something like this. There's more, Zara said gently. Come, let me show you. They walked to another section of the chamber, where a large screen showed images of Earth from space. But now, with her enhanced vision, Lisa could see things she had never noticed before. She could see the health of the forests, the quality of the air, the condition of the oceans. She could see exactly what needed to be done to fix the problems. You can see the connections now, Zara explained. How every living thing affects every other living thing, It's how healing one part of an ecosystem can heal the whole. Lisa studied the images, and ideas began flowing through her mind. She could see how to clean polluted rivers by helping certain plants grow stronger. She could see how to purify the air by working with trees and algae. She could see how to restore damaged soil by encouraging beneficial bacteria and fungi. "Need to go home," she said suddenly. "My people need this knowledge. They need to see what's possible." "You are ready," Zara agreed. "But remember, you will not be alone. Part of your new abilities will help you find others who are ready to change. Together, you can begin the healing of your world." Over the next few hours, Zara and Kale taught Lisa how to control her new abilities. She learned how to store energy from sunlight and starlight, how to communicate with plants and animals, how to purify water and air with just a touch. Most importantly, she learned how to recognize other humans who had the potential for transformation. She would be able to sense their readiness, their openness to change, their love for the earth. "When you return to your world," Zara said, "start small. Help a few plants, clean a small stream, heal a patch of damaged earth. Let people see what you can do. Those who are ready will come to you. And when they do," Kale added, "you will know how to guide them. The knowledge is inside you now." As they prepared for Lisa's return to Earth, she felt a mixture of excitement and responsibility. She was no longer just one person trying to make a difference. She was the beginning of something new, a bridge between what humanity was and what it could become. The ship brought her back to Earth, landing silently in the forest near her laboratory. As Lisa stepped onto the familiar ground, she felt the planet's pain and sickness, but she also felt its incredible potential for healing. "Thank you," she whispered to the ship as it lifted off into the night sky, alone in the forest. Lisa placed her hands on the ground and let her new energy flow into the earth. She felt the soil come alive beneath her touch, felt plants beginning to grow stronger, felt small animals being healed of the pollution in their bodies. This was just the beginning. Over the following weeks, Lisa began her work carefully. She returned to her laboratory and continued her research, but now she could do things that seemed impossible. Plants that should have died flourished under her care. Water samples that had been polluted became pure after she touched them. Her colleagues noticed the changes, but couldn't explain them. Some thought she had discovered a new treatment or fertilizer. Others wondered if she had changed somehow during her mysterious disappearance. But a few people seemed to understand that something much more significant was happening. They looked at Lisa with curious eyes and asked questions that showed they were ready for the truth. Dr. Rachel Kim from the biology department was the first. She came to Lisa's lab one evening and found her working with plants that were growing in impossible conditions, thriving in soil that should have been too toxic to support life. Rachel said quietly, "I don't know what happened to you, but I can see that you found something incredible, something that could change everything." Lisa looked at her colleague and friend, and with her enhanced senses, she could feel Rachel's readiness for transformation. She could sense the deep love for nature that drove Rachel's work, the frustration with humanity's destruction of the environment, and most importantly, the courage to embrace change. "Rachel," Lisa said with a smile, "let me tell you about a choice that could save our world." As Lisa began to share her story, she felt Zara's presence in her mind, distant but supportive. "The process is complete," came the familiar voice. "Now, the real work begins." Lisa nodded, still speaking to Rachel about aliens and transformations and the future of humanity. She was no longer alone in her mission. She was a guardian now, a protector of life, a bridge between worlds. And this was only the beginning of Earth's transformation into something beautiful beyond imagination.